Both of them are stuck on propagate. Oh, now it says streaming live.
Hello, guy. Oh, there we. Oh, Dave.
Are you seeing you on YouTube too, or just Facebook?
I see Dave.
Let me check.
And we are offline on YouTube.
Yeah, but it's so.
Hello, Facebook.
Now it says YouTube is on.
This is my boy Dave. I love Dave. Poor Dave. Dave gets the brunt of the work
Yeah, we're
around
on
here,
YouTube.
don't you? And you always do it so willingly. I don't see us on YouTube.
We are on YouTube. I just checked. That link does not work. I don't think.
This link's not working. Okay.
Da-da-da-da. Hello, everyone.
Okay, hello. We're just assuming we're on YouTube. Oh, we are on YouTube. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Had a little bit of technical difficulty there.
A
Actually,
little?
a lot of technical difficulty in like 8 different areas. All
Like,
the equipment was
So
failing.
much technical difficulty that Amazon 45 minutes ago was delivering a part for part of the technical difficulty and we couldn't get it done.
Hello,
All
everyone.
right, guys. I am Tara, the author of the Dining on a Dime cookbook where you can eat better, spend less, 1,200 quick and easy recipes to help you save money. Today, we are cooking on page 298 in our volume 1. Pumpkin roll is what we are making today. We get this question all the time. Volume 1 and Volume 2 are 2 completely different cookbooks, but they go together as a set. All right, so here's the pumpkin roll that we're making right there for you guys who are wondering. Now, what you're going to do is I already pre-started just a bit. You want to take 3 eggs and put them in your bowl, and you want to beat them for 5 minutes, okay? I didn't want you guys to have to listen to the eggs beating for 5 minutes, so I just pre-beat the eggs, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to add in your sugar as you're beating, okay?
Oh,
Dave's going to get situated here and turn the volume down.
yeah, volume's down.
Then you're going to add, whoops.
Yeah.
Then you're going to add your pumpkin. This is just regular canned pumpkin. Delicious in everything fall. We're going to mix the pumpkin. And then we are going to add the flour, cinnamon, and baking soda. Flour. Then our cinnamon.
Then what is this, cinnamon?
Cinnamon. All right, that's it. Now, you might want to scrape down your edges. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to prepare your pan. Now, I don't have any walnuts right now, so these are just pecans, just regular whole pecans. I had them for my pecan pie video that I'm doing. So what I do is I put them in my little nut grinder here. I already did most of them. And then my little nut grinder, you just go around and make your nuts all nice and chopped. See, just like that. And then you have your chopped nuts, okay? Now, let me check and see if my other one, so here's the thing. You can come back to me, Deb.
Which edition of the book? This is in one.
Volume 1.
Volume 1.
Yeah. Now, this needs to be baked in a 15 by 10 by 1 inch jelly roll pan. Now, mine is almost done baking, but you want a jelly roll pan that has a 1 inch lip on it. And it has to be the 15 by 10 inch, because if you don't, it's going to be too small and your pumpkin roll will not cook correctly and you won't be able to roll it correctly, okay? Now, while this is finishing for just a minute, we're going to talk about the filling. The filling is a cream cheese filling, but I know some people don't like cream cheese filling. That is totally fine. If you just want to use a buttercream filling, you can do that. That's fine. But cream cheese and pumpkin, I mean, seriously, you can't go wrong with cream cheese and pumpkin. This is basically a pumpkin bread that you roll up. It's basically a pumpkin bread recipe that you roll up. And so it seems like it's complicated, but it's actually really easy. All right, let's check. All right, now, to check, oops, sorry.
Uh-oh, the pressure's on.
To check to see if your pumpkin roll is done, you want to push down in the middle. Okay, can you see this, Dave, right in here? Can they see this? If you push down and let up and it springs back, your pumpkin roll is done. All right. Now, what I do is I go around the edges and break it away in case it got on the edges. Now, I kind of had to do this because I only have one jelly roll pan. So, can you see it has the lip? See how that has the lip like that? See how that has the lip? Okay, this is the jelly roll pan you want. Now, I'm kind of having to go backwards because I only have one jelly roll pan. So, what you want to do though, while it's still warm, oops, my parchment paper is slid. Oh dear. Okay, so what you want to do while it's still warm is you're going to slide it off, okay? Now, I'm having to do this backwards because, like I said, I only have one jelly roll pan. So let me show you here real quick. You're going to slide. All right, just like that. Now, let's go back one step here and let me show you. What you're going to do, you're going to put your parchment down. You're going to thoroughly spray your parchment and all the edges of your pan. Okay, really grease it good. And mine slid again. Whoops. Just a second. Okay, this is kind of hard holding it up. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to take your nuts and you're going to sprinkle them on the bottom. Just even them all out, just like that. Then you're going to pour your batter all over, just like so. And let's hope we don't burn Okay. Then you're going to spread your batter just like so. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put this in the oven at 350 degrees. The recipe is in the description below for 15 minutes. Okay. Then you're going to bring your pan out and you're going to test it like I showed you by pushing on the center and seeing if it springs back. Okay. All right. Now, then you're going to slide it off your parchment, okay? And you're going to go ahead and right away, you're going to roll it up, okay? Now, I roll it with the parchment first since it's warm, okay? If you don't have parchment paper, you can take a towel, sprinkle powdered sugar on the towel, and then hold the towel taut and flip it over if you want. But the parchment paper seems to work best, okay? And then you have your roll, okay? See how you have your roll? And you're going to leave it laying seam side down to cool. And you want it to completely cool. Now, I'm going to have Dave set this outside real quick for me and see how cool we can get it.
Wait, should I?
Nope, because we're going right here now. While I make up the frosting, we'll see if we can get that cooled down. Okay?
Georgina had asked what is the size of the jelly roll pan?
15 by 10 by 1. Okay? Now, I should have made a third jelly roll, but we kind of had a development today, and I got behind, and then we had tech issues, and we really got behind, and so we're just going to have to go with the flow. If it doesn't get cool enough, we'll see. But you want it completely cooled. Then while it's cooling, you want to open up your cream cheese.
Do you need me to help you?
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, thank you. For what is about to happen. Okay. When everything starts going wrong, we know that Jesus is doing something good for us. We always used to say Oprah was going to call because when things kept going wrong like they did today, it never failed. We would get a call from Oprah or Dr. Phil or Dr. Laura back in the day, and they'd say, yeah, we want you to be on our show. So we always say Oprah's going to call. All right. Now, you're going to take your cream cheese and you are going to take your butter right there and your vanilla right here. And your powdered sugar right there. Hopefully I won't dump it all. Okay. And then I need, since I have my batter on here, I need to rinse it off here real quick.
I can't wait to try this.
So tell them about pumpkin.
Yeah, somebody on there was saying that they didn't think they liked pumpkin, and then they tried this. I have not tried this one, but I always thought, I remember smelling pumpkin when we were scraping them out as kids, and I always thought that they would taste like they smelled. And so I never, ever, I always said I hate pumpkin, I don't like pumpkin. And then Tara started making recipes with pumpkin, and I realized, whoa, they don't taste at all like they smell. So
it's actually pretty tasty.
So if you think you don't like pumpkin, it would be good to try a recipe like this. Besides there's sugar and all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
When
you have cream cheese and sugar, you can't go wrong. All right, so then we're going to mix up our frosting. Or not. put your frosting on your pumpkin roll. Okay, come to me, Dave, and let me answer questions while our pumpkin roll is getting just a bit more cool. If your pumpkin roll isn't 100% cool, your frosting will melt in it. So you want it to be 100% cool. But for the show, I may not be able to get it 100% cool. We'll have to see. So let me answer some questions to let it cool for just another 5 minutes, and then we will frost it.
Oh no, somehow I pasted in all kinds of questions that weren't part of what I meant to. Let's see.
I'm not good at rolling up like a jelly roll, so looking forward to seeing how you do that. The picture in the book is beautiful. Yeah, it's really simple, but the trick to rolling it is you have to do it warm. So once it cools, if you wait too long, it will get cracks in it. So.
Oh, sorry. So I think I figured out what the questions are. You already answered about the jelly roll pan. There aren't.
Ooh, Nancy loves this recipe. Did you see the love?
Yeah, with the 9 hearts at the end. Too.
Ooh.
Thanks, Nancy.
I hope you're doing good, Nancy.
A lot of people like Tammy here saying finally cut live. It's been a long while. Some people were wondering if we had taken off for some time or something.
Well, we've been back doing live shows, but we were gone 2 weeks for some live shows.
Let's see.
But yeah.
These are all questions that I accidentally pasted in. Yeah, you already answered that one. Bandana Grandma's on.
Hello, Sissy.
Yay. And I think
Mike saw somebody that looked just like your husband when we were saving this guy's life the other day. It was funny.
It wasn't him, but I thought, man,
he
sure
looked
like
just
him.
like him. It could be his, what is it called, doppelganger? Is that what it's called?
Yes. So I don't see any. Oh, it seems like. Oh, there was a question about fibromyalgia, but did you want to answer that now?
No, let me answer cake questions. So can you freeze this cake when it's frosted? I'll answer it in just a minute.
I didn't see that one.
Can you freeze this cake when it's frosted? No. So cream cheese does not freeze very well. And if you use a buttercream frosting, you could. But what you could probably, okay, I haven't done this, but I think you could do it and refrigerate the rolled up cake, and then the day of, unroll it, frost it, roll it back up.
I think that was it for questions about the recipe. Let's just go look and see.
This recipe is in the description below, okay?
What recipe do you use? Yes, it's in the description below, and I've been pasting it in the comments as well.
It's in, so this one is in our Volume 1 of Dining on a Dime Cookbook, Volume 1. Once again, Volume 1 and Volume 2 are a set, but they both have completely different recipes, okay? They go together. I mean, you don't have to buy them together, but they go together as a set, but they have completely different recipes. And while we're at it real quick, people keep asking, yes, I think I have 2 big planners left. I found some under the desk the other day. I haven't advertised them this week, so I think I have 2 of these big ones left. And I have about, I think, 60 of the small planners left. So if you guys want the 2021 planner, so you can get it together, people, this is the 2021. I only have 60. I am not printing anymore. When they are sold out, they are sold out. And these will not be going on sale unless I have some left in February, because I only have a limited number, okay? All right.
So Helen wants to know what type of pumpkin would be best for this.
Canned pumpkin. If you use fresh pumpkin, you will need to drain the pumpkin first. So put it in a colander lined with cheesecloth. Let it drain the excess, especially if it's frozen, let it drain the excess water, and then you can use fresh cooked, home cooked pumpkin. But canned, just the regular, right here, just the regular canned pumpkin is what we use, okay?
Okay, so Esther, I just got your cookbook out to get an idea for the ground beef I got for $1.99 a pound.
Woo! See, you can still do it. That's great. All right, Dave, go ahead and hand me the pumpkin roll and we'll see. I don't think it's cool enough, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it because we have a show and we need to do it. So,
Do we eat Yule logs in the States? Gemma,
not really.
is that a food thing?
It's a roll. It's a jelly roll.
Oh, I was thinking
Thing.
that giant fire thing. That
Yeah, well, that's a Yule log, but they make them. Like some people do. Okay, actually, this is fairly cool. All right, Dave, here we go.
Hang on. Hold on.
Michelle says I'm going to have to make this. I have a cookie sheet. Would that work?
You have to have the jelly roll with at least an inch lip on it. You cannot put it on a cookie sheet, okay?
Please tell me I didn't mess something up.
I messed it up.
Oh, okay.
Because I always mess it up. Because I am the world famous cookbook author known as Tara. Okay, here's the thing. I should have greased the other side of the jelly roll paper and I forgot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently scrape as I go here. Okay. Gently scraping. That was my mess up. I was supposed to grease both sides. And I didn't. So now you can see if you mess up how to fix it. See, I am just here to serve as a warning to others. That is my full purpose in life, right, dear?
Yes.
Okay. Then,
Oh boy.
yeah, I should have.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just a second. All right. There we go. Whew. Everybody just take a deep breath.
Wanda says, poor Tara. Hey, you know,
Take a deep breath.
I didn't want to say it and jinx the situation here, but it's always fun to see how she solves the problem, how she improvises something that works out better.
What's funny is it's helped you with editing the cookbooks, hasn't it? Because Michael will read something in the cookbook and he'll say, well, yeah, but what if they do blah, blah, blah? And I'll say, well, then go ahead and put this as a note.
Bandana Grandma says, thank you for letting us learn from your mistakes, Tara.
Oh, Susie. You guys, you've been watching me long enough, you know. All right. Yeah, guys, go check out Bandana Grandma's channel. We love Bandana Grandma. Okay. And that's her channel, Bandana Grandma. Okay, now, let me get my, this is a little bit easier. Let's see, where did it go? Okay. Well. Alrighty then. Well, normally I have an offset spatula that would work actually a little bit better than this, but it did not get put up correctly. Okay, so then you're just going to spread. Now, you don't have to use homemade frosting, although I will say it tastes a whole lot better than the canned frosting, but you are more than welcome to use canned frosting. Guys, our mission in 2020 forward is to make your life easier, okay? Don't make life so hard. I was watching this video of, Mom sent me, of this lady doing her laundry, and for, I think it was 5 people, she had 16 loads of laundry for 5 people in 1 week that took her like 8 or 9 hours to do. Guys, I had 6 people in my family, and I never, ever, ever spent 8 hours doing laundry a week. And so Mom and I are on a mission to help you guys make your life simpler. And for those of you wondering, I do, and I did when the kids, even when the kids were little, with the exception of when Ellie was having her newborn barfing issues. She had stomach issues when she was born, and she would like puke every time she ate, and we were having to do like 6 loads of laundry a day then. But after that, Dave, this is a cooking channel. But after that, with the exception of illness, I always did 1 load of laundry per person a week, plus 1 or 2 for towels and sheets. So I never did more than 7 loads of laundry, even with little kids, okay? We're getting it here. Getting it. All right, that is looking really good. Now, if this was totally cool, it would be a whole lot easier to do because it wouldn't be quite so crumbly. Let me grab this one out. Okay, just so you can see, push down on the center and see how it pops back up.
It's kind of hard to see, but yeah.
If it pops back up, that's how you know it's done, okay? So, get that done. Then what you do to roll it up. Okay, you guys ready? Are you watching? Then you take and roll it with the parchment and pull the parchment back as you're rolling, okay? Go forward, pull your parchment back. Come forward, pull your parchment back. Forward, pull your parchment back. See, now when you guys go to do this, you're going to hear Tara saying, forward, pull your parchment back. Now, I'm at the end. Oh, Dave, can you hand me the cake plate down there? All right, and then just carefully go. And then what you're going to do, okay, then what you're going to do is, thanks, Dave. You're going to pull your parchment tight and wrap it up. And you're going to put this in the refrigerator and let it completely cool, okay? Let it completely cool. Now, after it has completely cooled, then you are going to take, and hopefully I can do this since it's not completely cooled, but you're going to take your parchment off. The seam goes down. And there you have your pumpkin roll. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your powdered sugar.
Whoa.
And you're going to go a little bit of powdered sugar over the top, just like so. Okay? Then when you go to cut it, now this will be more firm because it's chilled. But then when you go to cut it, you have your beautiful pumpkin roll.
Ooh, yum. That looks amazing.
All right, so now
Everybody's loving it here.
You giving Dad a taste test?
I'm going to give Mike a taste test so you can come back. Now, once again, normally this should be completely cool, but with the show, I had to do it.
Ooh.
Take a bite of that lusciousness.
Yum.
I have to say,
I've abandoned the comments.
I have to say, growing up, Mom would make this every Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
No, but I poisoned myself today, so.
No, don't keep doing it.
Mom, just because you poison yourself doesn't mean you have to kill yourself. You might recover from the poison, you know?
That is really good.
This is one of my favorite recipes. It brings tears to my eyes.
Everybody's begging for a bite.
When Mom would make this, it was all I could do to keep from eating the entire thing myself. I probably did it, eat myself. Oh my goodness. That brings back memories. You know how it brings back memories of sitting in the dining room with Mom and David and I with our huge Thanksgiving dinner she fixed. It was just the three of us.
Cat Lover says, I wish I was your neighbor. I would run over right now.
Well, this is going to my neighbors. So, as a matter of fact, I should have one of the kids run over to it before they go to Bible study. But anyway, this is how you make pumpkin roll. One of my favorite dishes in our Dining on a Dime cookbook right here. But guys, here's the thing. We have our Thanksgiving on a Dime ebook for $1 in our store. Go to livingonadime.com, click on the shop, click on ebooks. It is in there for $1. Thanksgiving on a Dime with all our favorite Thanksgiving recipes and tips for making Thanksgiving easy. Mike will put the link in there, and the link will be in the description below.
Thanksgiving on a Dime.
Yes.
Oh, do I have that in here? I should.
Somebody
Oh, thank you.
asked me when I'm doing gluten-free, dairy-free recipes. I started last week filming. It did not go very well. It did not go very well.
She was trying to do this huge extravaganza of gluten-free recipes.
So I cooked a whole gluten-free, dairy-free Thanksgiving. I cooked an entire regular Thanksgiving last week while I was supervising the kids packing books and while we were doing our one-day sale. And it just was a huge mess. So I'm editing the video tomorrow or Friday, depending on what happens. So hopefully this weekend or early next week, I will start having a few gluten-free, dairy-free recipes going. So
You scared some people.
why? What'd I do?
Brooke said, poisoned? What happened?
Oh, no, I was just joking. I'm gluten-free and dairy-free, and I had some gluten and dairy today. And so
Because
it
her
was so delicious.
80-something-year-old aunt, who's a brilliant cook,
Absolutely brilliant. She absolutely
says, yeah, just try it anyway.
Yeah, she absolutely is the best cook ever. And so I love her cooking, and so I blew it for today, which is fine. I get a headache and I get sick to my stomach for 24 hours, and it's worth it. You know, occasionally, here's the thing, I'm gluten-free, dairy-free, but occasionally it's just worth it. I mean, you know, you can eat a lot of things, and this can be made gluten-free. You can make this with gluten-free flour just fine, and it should work just fine.
Ariana said, wow, I can't believe you did it. Yeah, for those of you who are here a lot, you've probably seen Tara save a lot of near disasters. And so when you look at it and you say, oh, I don't think that looks like the way it should, it will in a few minutes probably.
Yeah.
Or else it'll be ice cream topping.
Well, yeah. We always make it ice cream topping if we can. What's funny is the other day when I was doing the whole cooking thing, I was so totally worn out. For those of you who say, how do you do it all? I don't do it all. BJ came over to visit, and he came into the kitchen to fix himself some coffee, and he said, Mom, this thing is smoking. I was like, what? Thankfully, it was my silicone hot pad holder. I put it on the burner, forgot the burner was turned on still. Thankfully, my house did not burn down. So, yeah.
Got a question here. Marla, can you double the filling, or would it be too much if you did?
You can if you want, but really,
When it's cold, it would stay in there better, right? Because right now it kind of oozes out because it's warmer.
Yeah, it's melty right now because it's warmer, but when it's chilled, that's really the perfect amount of filling. I think if you doubled it, you would just get too much. You know how you get that frosting, that's the hunk of frosting on the side of the cake or on the corner of the cake from Costco or the grocery store or whatever, you get that huge hunk of frosting. It's almost too much frosting. That's kind of the same thing if you doubled it, I think.
So Wanda's wondering about having it warmed up with ice cream. Would that be good?
You could, but your frosting would melt.
It would get all, yeah.
Yeah.
John, I think it was John S. I guess your name's on there. So how did my surgery go? I did not actually have it yet.
So tell them what happened.
So on Thursday, they said we're going to call Thursday and tell you what time. So Thursday about 3:30 in the afternoon, they called and said, come in tomorrow at 2:15. And then Thursday about 5:45, they called and said, hate to tell you, but the doctor tested positive for COVID just now.
And I was like, I don't care. We've already had it. Just do it anyway.
So it turns out that they weren't sure what to do there. And they called me back a couple days later and said it was looking like he's doing well, and they scheduled it for this coming Monday. So I think he's recovered already, which is great.
Yeah, although we have a problem. His surgery is Monday, and we found a house that meets every one but one criteria on our list that's 5 hours away. So we may be running and...
Well, we can.
Yeah, before the weather gets bad.
Running is possible is what I mean.
Oh, yeah, well, running is possible. We may be running up to Wyoming to check out a house we found. We could pay cash for it. It has internet. It has a 1,300 square foot shop to put the books in.
Boom.
Oh.
It appears to be likely to be.
And it's got hiking trails right behind the house. It's right up against the mountains. The only problem is that it and the house next door, which the same person built, they are the two nicest houses in a not so great neighborhood. So the question is, would it be a good investment house? Who knows? If Biden gets in and dumps all of our oil and gas production in the United States, and Wyoming's economy goes down the toilet, then we might.
They're very energy dependent on
like
oil and coal.
80% of their economy is oil and coal and gas. And so if Biden gets into office and he totally ruins that portion of the economy, then we could be stuck with a house if we needed to move for some reason. You know, I mean, the next house, we're planning on dying in our next house.
Well,
but
we're not actually planning on dying in the house. We're just planning on not moving again.
Yeah.
You made it sound like we're going there to die.
You knew what I meant. We aren't planning on moving again, but you know, you never know. Like with my mom, she's had to follow me and my brother and help us out and stuff. And so you never know when you're going to have to pick up and move. And so our only hesitation is that it's a really nice house in a not great neighborhood in a state where, depending on what happens on January 20th, could completely lose most of its economy. I don't know. We'll see. So we might, here's the thing, we may have to make a flying trip up there to check it out and see, and hopefully get back before your surgery on Monday.
Amy, woohoo, Wyoming is gorgeous.
I love Wyoming. I just hate the wind. I hate the wind. So Cheyenne, Casper, Laramie, Gillette, I'm not real big on. But this is up against the mountains. They say the wind isn't as bad, but I don't know. We just would be super excited to pay cash for it and be able to do that. And there would be space for our kids to park their RVs or tiny houses, whatever they're doing.
And compared to, it's hard to envision a little bit because I keep thinking about where we used to live in Idaho, where there were only 400 people.
Yeah.
And this place isn't that small.
No.
But it's substantially smaller than where we are now.
Yeah. But it has a grocery store, but we would have to go 30 miles for any significant shopping and an hour and a half for like Hobby Lobby, Costco. That would be like an hour to an hour and a half away. But I go to Costco like 3 times a year. I don't really like Costco that well. I mean, it's okay, but I don't shop at Costco every 2 weeks or a month or whatever. I go like every 3 or 4 months when I have a membership. And usually the only reason I have a membership is for show stuff, when I'm having to do show stuff. And everything else, except for Hobby Lobby and that kind of stuff, well, shoot. An hour and a half drive to have some peace and quiet would be glorious. Absolutely glorious.
Wanda says, isn't going batty in Wyoming? Yes, they are.
How far is it from them?
Well, it's probably about the same as from here.
Oh, it's that far? Are they on the other side?
They're on the east side.
Oh,
They're on the west
okay.
side. Sorry, they're on the west side.
Oh, they're on the west? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We were looking more north central-ish. So.
Yeah. But the house has been on the market for 2.5 years because nobody wants to buy a really nice house in a not so nice neighborhood. So I don't know. But here's the thing. Like 25 years ago, there's this little town called Erie in Colorado that was the armpit of Colorado. I mean, it was just the armpit of Colorado. No one would move there to save their lives. You'd have to be out of your mind crazy to move to this little town. Well, now it's where all the millionaires live, and they've built it up, and there's tons of these $1 million houses in what used to be the armpit of Colorado. So it could be something like that, you know, especially if Biden gets in, everybody's talking about moving and leaving and all this kind of stuff, and we're like, well, could we get there first? I don't know. I have faith, though, in our court system, so anyway. Oh, thank you, Denise. I'm glad you like my hair. For those of you, yes, I am growing out my gray right there.
Okay.
But who's the most beautiful woman in the world?
You are. Well.
Did you see that? No hesitation. Thank you.
Yes. Sandra, our income is not tied to oil. The thing is that we've lived in a town before where we bought a house, and that house was really cheap, really.
Yeah.
But there, because the economy there wasn't very good and people were moving out, when we had to sell it for
A loss. Yeah.
like a third less than we paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
we actually had to pay someone an $8,000 check to buy our house from us.
well, and that house we bought for $27,000. So,
yeah.
But now the price would be significantly, dramatically higher than that.
Yeah.
And so if we were to have to move, even the people that own it now have been trying to sell it for a long time. So we have to be pretty sure we want to go,
Yeah.
or else we could be sort of in a position of not being able to sell it.
Yeah.
So we're a little more paranoid than that after having taken that big bite.
And our house before this one, we had to take a loss of $15,000 because that was in 2009, right after the big crash. And we needed to move back here quickly, so we went ahead and took a loss on it. So we've had to take a loss on 2 houses. So this is big for us because, you know, you never know what will happen. Maybe somebody will get cancer and you have to move to a big city to get treatments or something, you know. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying you need to always have an exit plan. With your house, with your business, with whatever Oh, I almost said your marriage. No. I'm just kidding.
No, that's all right. I'll stay.
Oh.
You always need to have an exit plan when you buy a house. And so that's one thing that we're thinking of. And we have thought, okay, so we buy this house and it really suits our needs right now. But if we have enough room for our business to expand and grow, could we make more money than if we took $100,000 or $200,000 loss on it? If we had to sell it, would it be that big of a deal? So we're throwing things around trying to figure it out, but yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal, but the thing is that if it was like super desperate and we were already doing a lot better, the thing is when we had that house that we lost $8,000 on, our income was $6 an hour.
Yeah.
And so
that was
a huge amount of money for us at that time. It would be less. That would be less devastating to us now.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we bought this house in Colorado, and we really had to sort of do a lot of contortions to get a house that we thought would definitely be able to sell, and it's doubled in value since we lived here. So that would pay for a much better house up there. So that's kind of what we're thinking is we'd like to get one where we can have a house that works with the business, works with our family, and has kind of all the things we need, and a lot less noise than the suburban neighborhood that we're currently in. And this would, if it works out, would give us an opportunity to have no mortgage, even after doing that.
But double the space and double the business space that we need. And there's an option where we could turn the garage on the house, not including the big shop for the books, but the garage on the house is 1,200 square feet. We could turn that into a mother-in-law suite for mom, or the town is cheap enough that mom could buy her own house. Oh, everybody's saying buy the house. Oh.
Except one person who's a real estate agent or been in the real estate business. Yes, that's the thing that we're thinking is we would have to pretty much be in the mindset that we would never move.
Yeah.
If we decided to buy it, but it appears from a distance to have every one of our major qualifications except that. So we would have to go see and take a look.
And here's the thing. We have been praying and praying, and every single time I have gone to look at a house, I have prayed, Lord, please let me know if we are not to buy this house because I don't want to waste time. And I am not exaggerating. How many houses have we looked at, Ellie? Let's see. We've probably looked at in person, probably 6. You've only gone with 2, but I've probably looked at 6 houses. Ellie went with 2, and I am not kidding. I literally drove into the driveway, with the exception of one. I literally drove into the driveway and was like, this is not going to work. One house, we were on the front porch, and I was like, this is not going to work. So we're just praying that God will give us wisdom and discernment so that we don't make a huge financial mistake.
Don't turn off my computer.
Because we have sold enough houses. Mike has been in real estate. His dad was a real estate agent for an appraiser for a long time. So we know that we could get in over our heads. So we're just like, okay, let us know for sure that that's not what we're supposed to do. So
yeah, we were somewhat hesitant on that one thing, but we just thought, well, we'll go see, and it really is. It's not that long of a drive from here.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And so somebody was asking about the kids. Our oldest has moved out and has a job that pays pretty well here, so he probably would stay in this area
for a little while, but he wants to leave.
But he lives in an RV,
yeah,
and so he can kind of do whatever he wants. I suggested that if he just banks the money as much as he makes it, if he changes his mind later and wants to do something else, he would have that opportunity. But we would only be 5 hours away, so we could actually come down, stay overnight, and go back, and still have plenty of time to visit. Most likely we would come down and stay several nights.
Yeah.
So, and same thing.
Janelle says we should make sure we have a place for the Christmas tree. I know, that's a problem, isn't it? People don't think about that when they're buying a house, but that's truly a problem. People don't think about things like that. And like today, here's the thing. We saw the house on Zillow. Mike did some fancy finger work and found who the owner was. We found out he owned the house next door that he had built 5 years ago, was renting this particular house. So I just called up the owner today. And I had this whole list of questions. I'm like, what's the mail do? Because our business is dependent on the mail. You know, can a semi truck get down the road? He's like, oh yeah, they turn around all the time. How far are you from hiking and all that? He said, oh, we just literally go out our back door and start hiking. And so I just called the owner. So we wouldn't be dealing with the owner. We need to find a real estate agent up there tonight or tomorrow. But yeah.
High maintenance. I thought he quit his job. Well, he quit his job.
Oh,
and
yeah.
was doing some other things, and they begged him to come back and offered to pay him a lot more.
Significantly more for less work.
He said, well, I have some really specific things. Because those of you who've been with us a while know we took him to Mayo Clinic several years ago to try to diagnose something where he's just not feeling good a lot. And part of what they said is that he needs to take it a little easier more of the time.
Yeah.
And so he said, you know, I absolutely have to put it in a contract that I cannot work more than this. and these are the things. And they hired him back. He was okay doing what he was doing, but I think he likes this. The other thing was a little more laid back than the sales job that he's doing now, but he's really good at it, and I think he seems to like it well enough that he was willing to go back for that. And they really like him because he sells a lot for the company, and most of the people he hires and trains turn out to be almost as good as him. And it's funny though, because he's very encouraging to them, so they tend to, if they go to a different store, they tend to drop unless they've been in the store with him for a while. So anyway, I think he's doing really well at that, and he would probably stay here, but chances are good he would come up fairly frequently if we were up there, and we'd probably come down here some too.
We have no YouTube.
YouTube is them.
All right, so Facebook. We're still with you. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Okay, everybody says it's working. Okay, half is working and half is not working.
It's working for me.
It's working for you.
You're still going like normal.
Okay, that's weird. Huh. Well, the best part about this place was it had internet. We cannot find any place with internet. So, and if our kids wanted to park their tiny houses on there, they would be able to. So I don't know. We'll see, but we had looked in South Dakota, but their taxes are really high, and when your house is paid off, how much you pay taxes on your houses is something you need to think of. And the good thing about Wyoming is they don't have an income tax. So not having to pay income tax would pay all of our taxes and insurance for the year for us. So that would be good for us. So anyway.
Oh, you know what? Oh, I guess we're getting ready to go, but I was just going to say, YouTube is working for some people that, yeah, we would rather choose a sales tax over an income tax, because if you have the sales tax and you can't work anymore and you don't really have an income, you can buy less. Mm-hmm. But if you have the house,
you always have to pay more.
You have a high property tax, you have to always pay a large amount no matter what. So we looked at a couple houses in South Dakota, and it was like $6,000 to $8,000 a year tax. That means if we could not work anymore, then we would have to pay probably $600 to $800 plus the home insurance and all that if we could not work anymore. Mm-hmm. But with a low property tax and a sales tax, you can just say, well, I won't buy so many things because then I don't have to pay as much sales tax.
Yeah. Mary had a question about fibro. I was just diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I have a 1 and 4-year-old. Any tips for raising little ones with chronic pain? Well, so I was sick before I had all 4 of my kids. So at one point I had 3 kids 6 years old and under. And then when our oldest was 12, I had my last one. Any tips? Make your life simple. Don't cut your laundry down to as much as you can. Now, when you have little kids, you have accidents, you have throw up, you have stuff like that. I totally understand. But when they're potty training, do things like pull-ups instead of underwear at night. That was my big mistake. I was like, no, I ain't buying. Well, we couldn't really afford pull-ups back then because we weren't making very much money to afford them. But use pull-ups if you can. Do things like make your meals simple. Don't make elaborate meals. Just fix chicken, open a jar of applesauce with some rice, and keep it simple. Don't stress out about having a perfect house. You're not going to have a perfect house. You need to keep it clean and neat and orderly, but you don't need to be obsessive about it. But, have the kids help. Make sure you don't have too many clothes for the kids. So they should only have 7 to 10 days worth of shirts. Maybe that age, maybe the same amount for pants if they're potty training, and then 7 to 10 underwear. If they have more than that, you have way too many clothes, and you need to declutter and get rid of it and do laundry every couple or 3 days. Don't If they don't wet their clothes and they're not completely filthy, so like in the winter, my kids were inside more. If their clothes were still clean, like the 4-year-old's getting to the point where her clothes might be clean, they can wear them the next day if they're not stinky or dirty. So rewear clothes. You rewear clothes. I'll wear a pair of jeans for a week. I'll wear the same shirt 3 or 4 days in a row because they don't get stinky, they don't get dirty. There's no reason why you can't wear it again. And let's see, what else? Get your husband to help. There's no reason why your husband can't help with the dishes and the vacuuming.
Oh, I can't?
Yes, you did. All the time. If he's not going to help, then you need to find the money to hire someone to come in and help you with the heavy cleaning, like the bathtubs and vacuuming and stuff and that kind of thing.
I thought you were going to say you'd find the money to hire a husband who will.
Yeah.
There were a couple other questions. Banana Grandma wants to know, do you still take the Alka-Seltzer when you're feeling bad?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I took one an hour and a half ago because this week and last week has been particularly stressful. And I shot 2 videos right before we went live, was trying to get all the props and everything made, and I was completely having a meltdown all at the same time while talking to this guy about his house, trying to decide if we need to make a trip to Wyoming tomorrow. Yeah. And I went to the hairdresser with my grandma today and went to go visit my aunts, so I did all that this morning. What kind of questions do you ask before purchasing a new place? Well, it depends on the... Oh, there's the milk cap. We lost the milk cap the other day. It was in my apron. It depends on what your needs are, what your desires are. Are you wanting cake? It depends on what you need. So for us, because we need internet, we have to find out the internet. But you want to find out things like, is it on septic? Is it on well? Okay, are those things, do they pass inspection? Look and see if there's cracks in the house. If there's cracks, that means that the foundation is settling, and it may be okay, but if it's big cracks, you don't want to mess with stuff like that. If it's got a basement, for sure, look and see if there's cracks in the cement in the basement. If you have cracks in your foundation, you run as fast as you can from that house. That's the most expensive.
Also, in basements, you'd want to look for signs of previous flooding or mold, things like that.
Does it smell moldy? Does it smell like cats? Does it smell like dogs? Mold, you won't be able to do anything with. Cats and dogs, you're going to have to tear up the entire carpet, or hardwood, you're going to have to totally strip it, enzyme it down, and put in new carpet, or refinish it if it's wood floors. Check the plumbing, turn everything on. Turn every faucet on, turn every dishwasher, run the microwave, check the refrigerator, check the oven. Turn them all on and see if they're working. There's going to be problems with any house, but you just have to see which ones are worth fixing and which aren't. The roof. Does the roof need to be replaced? We looked at one house. The roof needed to be replaced. It was going to be $20,000, but the seller didn't want to lower the price $20,000, so we're like, no, thank you. The seller ended up putting a new roof on and then raised the price $20,000 on the house.
But their price was already the market value, so when they raise the price, then it's more the market value.
So they weren't selling their house.
One thing we learned greatly in the past, and that's our one concern on this one, is you need to know, if I have to move, what is my potential to lose and how would I avoid that? So if you buy in like a small town where nobody is going, you better be sure you want to live there forever.
Yeah.
Or you better be sure that you'll have enough money to buy another house and keep the one that you bought in the small town, because when the economy is going down in a certain area, because a lot of small towns, even if the economy is great in the rest of the country, it's not great there. And typically, a lot of small towns, more people are moving out than moving in. So in places where something is wrong that might cause the value of the house to go down, you want to know that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's mostly what we're looking for, is things on the house that might cause a problem. So
Yep.
something else, we bought a house and I think we bought one house. It ended up being a great house for us, but there was a problem with the septic tank and it passed an inspection, so we didn't think there was anything wrong. Well, it turns out the septic tank they built a garage over the septic tank.
And there was no field to drain it.
There was a little bit of the septic tank sticking out from under the garage, and then it didn't have the septic field. Those things you can have checked. I think whoever checked it for us didn't do a very good job.
No.
But we always want to know, like, where is the septic system? Because if we want to do something else with a piece of ground, you can't build building stuff on top of.
But what Mike didn't say was that septic tank issue cost us $12,000 3 days after we moved into the house. $12,000 3 days, and we were making like $35,000 a year. So it was bad. So that kind of thing, you really want to be careful. But here's the thing. We should have sued the people. We went to mediation and settled and paid half of it, and they paid half of it. We should have sued them because something like that should be disclosed and they should pay for that. We would not have bought that house at that price if we knew we were going to have to put a new septic system in. And 3 days after we moved in, all the toilets started gurgling and we were like, what's wrong? And we send Roto-Rooter out, and he's like, you have no septic system. We were like, what? So, and I know those are horror stories, but we got through it. We took a small loan on our credit card to get it paid off at 0%. It took us like 6 months. Things like that are just going to happen. That's why you always want to have an emergency fund. If you can save up money for an emergency fund, that's why you always want to have an emergency fund. So
YouTube is basically down, just so you guys know.
Yeah. We are aware that YouTube is mostly down.
Yeah.
And 'cause people on Facebook are talking about it also. But it's apparently their thing.
Wanda, I had thought about making ramen, but I'm going to make a separate video. I have the ramen right over here waiting. I'm doing a ramen video. My word, I am going to start selling laxatives. As my next product. I'm like, you people need to give your colon a cleanse so you can calm yourself down.
Yeah. Oh, bandana. One bandana grandma. 1 month after we moved in, we found our furnace had a cracked heat exchanger and had to be condemned and replaced. Yeah, so if there's on the heater, you want to have that, ideally you'd like to have that checked out pretty well, because if it's got a cracked exchanger, it can put out carbon monoxide, which can kill you.
Yeah.
You can, like, if the flame isn't blue, that's one way to know there's a problem. But
We lost.
it would be good to actually have a professional check out all the systems in the house and make sure. And for us, I'm a little paranoid about it, so we have 2 carbon monoxide detectors in our basement where the heater is. So
Yeah.
Should I just turn off YouTube?
Well,
Because everyone's still
yeah.
talking about it.
All right, so that's it, guys. Please pray for wisdom for us on this. I don't know. It's not like we're just like, woo, we're just going to go do it. But at the same time, it looks like it's a good potential. And anyway, yeah. So please visit us at livingonadime.com. We have our 2021 planners still in stock. Our Thanksgiving on a dime, $1 right now, Thanksgiving on a dime. And our Dining on a Dime cookbook's 25% off. We will see you guys next week. Keep watching our videos, and we will see you guys later.